Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 873, Refueled and Refreshed, recorded live on December 2nd, 2023. Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we hope you all had a great Thanksgiving for those in the States. While we were off, we had quite an enjoyable time for us over here, eating plenty of food, eating too much food, and we got a little bit of Halo in between the last podcast and now, but I think everything was pretty good. I got 2 Thanksgiving. Well, actually, no, technically 3 Thanksgiving meals. My folk came up the weekend before, had Thanksgiving dinner then, and then had Thanksgiving with my wife's folks, and then the Friendsgiving with my coworkers. So, definitely ate a lot of food.
I only had one, and I ate a lot of food.
There was, I guess technically there's a 4th one, because there was a Thanksgiving thing for our church staff.
Yeah.
And there was a question going around that I'm curious to hear your response to this. I don't know if I've ever asked you this before, but what's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Apparently that was the talk of the town for our staff Thanksgiving, but yeah, that was the thinker. I'll tell you mine.
For me,
what do you think?
God, it's a toss-up. Real stuffing or mashed potatoes.
Okay.
That's as close as I can get it.
Now, for you, what's stuffing? Because I know like some people call it dressing, some people call it stuffing. So what's stuffing for you?
What you stuff in the bird.
Okay.
Traditional Thanksgiving stuffing.
Okay.
Not the stovetop stuff.
Yeah, gotcha.
I've always, I know it's the hardest way to do it, but it also tastes the best.
I'm not a big fan of stuffing, and probably because of that reason. It's like the store-bought stuff isn't really that good.
Well, the homemade stuff, it's a lot moister than the store-bought stuff. So, it's not like eating just dry bread, which is what a lot of the store-bought stuff is, or it goes the opposite way and it's like concrete. You
don't know if I've had that before, but I think I get what you're saying.
Like I said, with the store-bought stuff, it can go either way. I mean, even with the homemade stuff, it can go either way if it's not made correctly. But yeah, mashed potatoes and stuffing. That's
for me,
because you can put gravy on both of them.
That's a good point. For me, I think it depends on like how it's made or who's making it, but either sweet potato casserole or green bean casserole would probably be. It's kind of a toss up between the two.
For me, out of those two, it'd be green bean casserole because I don't like sweet potatoes.
That's fair. I've regularly get requested to make the sweet potato casserole because I put the pecan brown sugar crumble on top of it. I much prefer that than marshmallows.
I mean, I know there's lots. I don't know. I just never liked sweet potatoes. Yeah, I've tried them in pretty much every form you can think of. I've even had sweet potato fries, and I've never liked the taste of sweet potato.
Not everything's for everybody, so that's fine. I wasn't big on sweet potatoes. Granted, well, a lot's changed from my palate early on, from my teenage years and high school years to now. Like, I didn't used to like sour cream or onions or...
Yeah. Growing up, the only thing that I would dread eating was liver and onions. I never could do liver and onions. It just never worked for me. I don't know what it is about it. And it looks like Dust is hung really hard. Yay! So first his streaming PC goes down, and now his main rig goes down. This is fun. Oh, a day of crashes. I was actually playing some Halo before the podcast, just working on the season pass, and I'm getting ready to load into a game of Husky Raid, and it crashes. And I mean hard crash. Like, I had to unplug my Xbox to get it to reset. It's like, really? I can't believe that. Oh, man. I hope everybody's enjoyed their Thanksgiving, as Dust said. I'll just go ahead and get started with game night last night. We had a good game night. We had a lot of fun. We spent most of the night in in Super Fiesta. And then we played some of the some big team. We got a couple of games where I don't know where these guys came from, but they were definitely above my pay grade. But all in all, we did a pretty good job of holding our own. I think we only had one game that was really an absolute wipe as far as the big team. And then we had a couple of Super Fiesta games that just, the weapon rolls just didn't go for us. It was terrible. It never, the other team was either spawning with rocket launchers and long range weapons, and we were, spawning with shotguns and bolt shots. Bolt shot. There you go. Ravengers, plasma pistols, the good ones, the stuff that you can never get a kill with. The week before we didn't do Frag Fridays due to Thanksgiving, and I was just tired. But yeah, all in all, everything's going well. I hope that if any of you would like to join in, feel free to send me a message on Xbox Live. You can get me at Godzilla T, and we will get you invited in. And you're more than welcome to just stop by the stream, say hi. I do my best to keep an eye on the chat. So if I don't say hi right away, that's probably because I'm in the middle of getting my butt kicked, which is pretty easy to do because I am not a good Halo player, and I never claimed to be. So if you want to come in and make fun of me, how poorly I play Halo, go right ahead, because I'll agree with you. Just keep it clean. Anyway, we're also me and Dust are trying to get back together and play some more of the Cursed Halo campaign and get that finished up. We're on the Mario Kart section, so this ought to be interesting. Seeing, one, I never played Mario Kart, so I won't recognize any of the maps or where to go or what to do. So that ought to be interesting. We generally do stream that on the Podtacular channel, and then I stream my point of view on my own channel. If you want to tune into both, you can find me at Godzilla T on Twitch. There is an interesting thing is going to happen when we continue that. I imagine I'm going to blow us up many, many times.
So you haven't
and
done...
Dust is back.
I mean, I am back. I was listening to the last part of that. Yeah, I don't think my new desktop has actually ever blue screened before, so that was a first. Anyways.
Well, when you're going to break it good.
No kidding. Thankfully, the recording did save to memory, so
that's good.
Actually have the first part of the podcast, so we'll just splice that together in the end, and now everything should work out just fine. Anyways, so like of Mario Kart, like you've probably seen some of the courses.
I know of Mario Kart. I've never played it. Mario, I was off of Nintendo when Mario Kart came out.
Okay,
I was already playing on Xbox.
Gotcha.
I'd already got hooked by the Halo bug.
Nintendo, I feel like, was one of those things where, yeah, you technically have like Xbox as a console and PlayStation as a console and Nintendo as a console, but I feel like Nintendo's in its own little realm. Like you could be an Xbox fanboy or a PlayStation fanboy and still play Nintendo, because Nintendo's kind of in its own little thing where Xbox and PlayStation are a lot more directly competitive.
Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation, they tend to go head to head, and Nintendo just tends to do their own thing. Honestly, you just really don't find the Nintendo style games on PlayStation or Xbox. That's they're fair. Just, that's one thing I'll give Nintendo. They do the party game really well. I mean, pretty much any of their games are great for party games. I mean, even the single player games were fun for party games. So,
Smash, Mario Party, Mario Kart.
Well, I mean, even Super Mario Brothers, the OG. True. I mean, it was fun to just pass the controller around.
That's true.
You do a level, you hand it to the next person, you let them do a level, and you make fun of how many times they died along the way.
Well, the original Super Mario there was a 2-player mode where, like, if once the first person lost all their lives, then the second person was Luigi, and then Victor, I think.
I don't remember.
That was on the NES.
I never played 2 people on Super Mario Brothers. We always just played one character and just passed the controller around. I mean,
that works too.
In some of the later games, they had a better support of 2-player in an actual co-op mode. So
right.
But like I said,
did you mention at all any of the Halo 3 maps that we played last night?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Was that your first foray into any of the Halo 3 stuff? Or the Forge stuff in Infinite for Halo 3?
Yeah, I've played it. I'd played it earlier. Yeah and no. In my opinion, the maps, while being relatively true to the original Halo 3 maps, I just don't think they got the movement right for them. If we were playing them without the additions that Infinite has added, then they would probably play better. But they really didn't. They didn't take into account the advanced movement in Halo Infinite, which makes, especially like capture the flag, it really hurts the experience. Especially on I forget the name of the one, the Foundry remake, or the one that's supposedly in Foundry, but it's all green.
Oh, Critical Dew Point.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be Foundry? I played it last night for the first time.
That's the closest thing I could relate it to.
I don't think that map is specifically supposed to be a Halo 3 map. I thought it was a tweak off one of the old MLG maps. I don't think so. It doesn't feel like a MLG map. I think it's just supposed to be, since it's the Halo 3 Refueled playlist and it's part of the Mountain Dew thing. I think it's just a map specifically that's Mountain Dew themed. I don't think it's supposed to be a Halo 3 remake of a map.
Okay, well, good, because they did a poor job. That map, Slayer's fine on it, but that's it.
We had, after Game Night was done last night, me, Bobby, Confal, and Great, the new person that joined us last night, we had a big tug of war capture the flag match. We got the first capture. We held them off until about 3 minutes left in the match. They had a capture. Then we went to overtime, and then they scored one flag. So that one can be just from the one time I played capture the flag on it. It felt good.
Yeah, for the speed of which you can move across the map, I think the flags are just too close together in the map. I don't think the map's big enough, because every time I've played it, this leans towards my skill, which I suck. So keep this in mind. I mean, it was a 3-0 cap inside of 7 minutes. Yeah, it just boom, 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 and that it's just. I guess probably that map is just beyond my skill limit. Anyway,
it's a new map. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, it wasn't getting used to it. It's just not being able to. The route from flag to flag is just too short. I mean, somebody that is good with the Halo Infinite movement and throwing flag can go back and forth really fast.
I don't feel like it's much shorter than other arena maps that we have in Infinite.
The problem is The other maps, there's more obstacles to break up that movement.
True.
In that map, it's pretty much a straight shot from flag to flag if you pick the right route.
That is true. I will give you that.
And I think that's probably, at least for Capture the Flag, that's probably one of its biggest drawbacks. But like I said, it's just not me. I just don't like the map. Not a big fan of the Mountain Dew green or whatever green they picked either.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. My only game was, again, the one after game night was over last night. I was playing Capture the Flag, and it came down to a stalemate. So,
yeah, I mean, if you've got a good team and you can hold them off, it makes it a lot more fun, and it makes it a challenging map. But the problem is that it relies on team balance heavily. And you have to have two teams that are relatively evenly matched to have a decent game on it.
And you have to play all the angles. You can't just focus on one part of the map. You have to actually, which I think is a little bit more akin to how Halo 3 played, where you have to actually control multiple lanes from a competitive standpoint than you can with, I feel like Infinite, there's a lot more, which direction teams are coming from based off the spawn system and kind of the flow of the map, whereas Halo 3, you kind of had that with some of the maps, but there was a lot more pathways that you had to actually keep track of and keep control over. Just a difference in map design, and probably comes down to some of the movement mechanic stuff too.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you didn't have the movement mechanics of Infinite in there, it would be a totally different map.
Well, I'm just talking about,
and the distance
design
between the flags wouldn't matter as much. It's just that you can traverse a very short distance from flag to flag relatively quickly with a pretty much unobstructed path.
Yeah, that's where the map control really comes into play. I know I haven't played all the maps. I'm assuming you haven't played all the maps in the playlist yet.
No, I've only played that. Yeah, I really wish they'd weighted those maps differently. They seem to get repeat maps a lot.
Well, I think part of it is there's a lean towards you're going to get only, like, randomness is only going to help you out so much.
Yeah. I mean, the odds are never in your favor. You're going to see all the maps in one playthrough, because with the map and mode options, you will get a lot of variations and possibilities with each random roll.
Yep. So I'm have the maps pulled up here. The ones I haven't played, I guess I'll go over the ones I have played. I've played on the Pit. Played on that map. I've played on, which one's this one? Oh, I've played on Domicile. Played that one last night after game night. That's the Construct remake. I have
not played that one.
I've played on High Ground.
Played that one.
And Dew Point. So I have not played on Isolation, Banished Narrows. Oh, I've played on Cliffside, which is the Lockout remake. Or Blackout remake,
I've played that one, yeah.
I like the additions to Cliffside. I actually like the things that they added on there personally, but we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, I haven't played Sylvanas, which is the Guardian remake. So there are 3 maps in the playlist that I have not played yet.
Yeah, I haven't done the Guardian remake, Narrows, and there was one other.
So I'm happy that the playlist is still around, because I do want to get in and actually experience all the maps. There's also the Custom Games browser, which is getting a fix or an update next week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that'll be nice to maybe we can hop in there and actually try to find some matches on some of these maps. But to your point, wish they were weighted a little bit more balanced, or have something in the back side of the matchmaking engine to say, hey, this person hasn't had this map yet. Maybe weight that a little bit higher so they can actually get that map to play.
Well, it would be nice if the system would look, well, hey, this player's played this map 3 times in a row. Maybe I ought to give him something different.
Right.
I don't mind playing the same map. It's just when you play the same map like 3 games in a row, it's like, come on, system. Yeah, you changed the game type, but it's still the same map.
Well, that's good to hear that we had some good game nights. I know I missed a couple, but I got the one last night. It was fun to play some of the squad battle and then some of the Halo 3 stuff too. All right, so shall we jump into some of the news?
Sure.
Take a look at what we've got going on in the Halo side of things. I forget if you mentioned this before we started recording or after, but there's the trailer for season 2 of the Halo TV show that was released today. With the news
there was.
It will be coming to streaming February 8th of next year. So only 2 months basically until it comes out.
They must have really been cranking on it.
Yeah, because they were filming last summer. I mean, I think that's about the right turnaround time for a TV show is like 6 to 9 months.
Well, I mean, compared to the first season.
Well, when did they actually start filming that, though? Because I feel like, yeah, there was the announcement in 2012, but they really didn't land on the script and actually start filming stuff until like a year or two prior to release, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a whole COVID thing in the middle of that too. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing where they take the story next. A lot of people are ragging on the story. I don't care. I like the story. I'm actually kind of happy they're not just rehashing a Halo book, because they will be. If they did that, they would just be doing the book disjustice. Same with the games.
I like the fact that they're doing a different story. I appreciate that some people don't like the story that 343 decided to do with the TV show. I get that some people wanted something that was lore accurate to the games and the books. But if you were to take... We explained this when we did our review of the TV show from the first season. If you just took this as its own experience, it's actually not a bad show. Now, the whole sex scene and everything else kind of around the whole love interest thing is kind of like, that's not very
well,
Halo.
It is Showtime.
Well, and that's one thing I think a lot of Halo fans don't realize is that's the audience of Showtime. That's heavily driven by the executives at Showtime. And hey, all of our shows have these common things. So
all our successful shows do this, this, and this.
And the actual streaming numbers prove that it was successful.
Yeah.
Granted, Halo fans didn't like it, but it wasn't a TV show that was made specifically for the hardcore lore fans.
Mm-hmm. It was made for the general population. Because,
and if you don't,
I'm not knocking the Halo lore fans, but there's not enough of you to pay for the production rights on that TV show. I'm just saying.
And the majority of people watching it probably don't have as strong of a desire to see a certain style of Halo show. This is why it's called the vocal minority. But at the same time, there have been plenty of discussions out there how I think what was it, The Last of Us or some other TV show that came out last year that was actually lore accurate to the video game universe. So people were saying, oh, you can actually do this and actually stay lore universe accurate. And it's like, okay.
Yes, they could have.
You could.
They could have changed a few facts and stayed lore accurate. But the sex scene was still going to happen. Chief was going to still walk around without his helmet on, because you don't pay an actor that kind of money to have him walk around in a helmet all the time.
And in the TV show, it doesn't. That doesn't. I don't think that matters. And they even set it up as this is a separate timeline, like an alternate universe of Halo.
Yeah.
So they queued that up. Granted, I don't think they did a very good job at saying, "Hey, this is very different." They said, I think they tried to make it seem like it was a lot more similar to what the Halo universe was, and it was a pretty massive departure from the video game narrative.
I was not surprised by the story at all, as far as how far it separated itself from the established lore.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't think they portrayed it very well.
The biggest problem with that is the expectations didn't meet what was delivered. And that has always been a big problem in a lot of communities, but in Halo. The expectation of what is going to happen and what actually happens are usually two different things. You know, the expectation of what was supposed to happen with Halo 5 and with Halo Infinite greatly outweighed what we actually got. Now, I'm not saying that they're off the hook. There are things that should have been done on both those games at launch. Everybody knows what they are. But like I said, I think as a group, we need to roll back the expectations a little bit until we actually have some facts. I mean, you can dream up whatever you want, but don't expect 343 to honor what you dream up.
I will say the trailer does seem to be a little bit more gritty, a little bit more military like.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe and obviously there was a big backlash from I'm going to say it's the vocal minority of the Halo community. Vocal minority. Because I think a lot of people, from a general audience perspective, really didn't care that much. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to watch it, so
I'm going to watch it too. There was a Waypoint article that goes with this saying that it takes place 6 months after the events of the first season. We have a new character being introduced into this season, which has some very interesting lore implications. Those of you who have read the books may know of the name James Ackerson.
Dick. Oh, sorry, his name was James. I'm sorry.
That's good. And also, in preparation or anticipation of season 2 coming out, you can stream the whole first season on YouTube right now.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you don't have it, go download the YouTube video versions. You can.
No. You go watch it. Don't download it. Just go watch it.
You can go watch.
And don't forget to get your YouTube premium subscription so you don't have to watch commercials.
There you go. So, in addition to season 2 of the TV show coming out, we have our mid-season update for Halo Infinite dropping next week as well. We have a trailer coming out on the 4th?
5th.
Trailer coming out? No, the trailer comes out on the 4th. Monday, December 4th.
Oh, it does?
At 9 Pacific, noon Eastern.
Oh.
People have been speculating, what is it? If you go to YouTube, you'll see the premiere pending thing. It's Firefight King of the Hill is the trailer. It's nothing new narrative story wise. It's nothing super secret special like Tatanka or what the Battle Royale secret mode thing or whatever. It's Firefight King of the Hill. That's going to be coming next week. That drops December 5th on Tuesday. And along with it comes Forge updates, the repair field equipment. Interested to see what people do with it once they get their hands on with it. You can do some pretty cool things with it. So test that when you get it. There's lots of cool, sneaky things that you can do with it. Of course, quality of life improvements, more stability stuff. They're working on fixing desync issues. And anything else? I think there is some content or custom games browser updates that have been going on over the past couple of weeks. Some updates to Ranked as well. Tashi put out a separate article on Waypoint explaining some of the changes coming to some of the ranked playlists. Some notable things being, once you actually go up a rank, you have a 3-game safety net where you won't derank. So if you go from like platinum to diamond, you won't instantly go back down to platinum. You have a 3-game grace period to stay in diamond before it actually knocks you back down. Changing some of the quit penalties. So if one person quits at all from your team, then you can quit out. You don't get any kind of matchmaking ban penalty. You don't get any CSR penalty. So they've updated that in ranked where if someone quits during a game, then you can quit afterwards and you don't get impacted because of that person quitting. There's a join session as a fire team for custom games browser, which is a huge thing. So now you can actually go into a custom game as a fire team instead of having to join one individually at a time.
That's nice.
So big win there. I think those are the notable things. There's some details added in Forge for those that are forgers that want to go in and see some of the details there. Updates to AI, some game mode, some script nodes, and other things like that. There is a new, I forget what they're calling the series, but it's the little kind of mini short story things. The latest one came out last week. It's called Halo Battle for the Blood Moon. And there's a cannon fodder that went with it. There's a new Forge features on Waypoint. Again, lots of remakes. Not quite as many remakes this time, but lots of things influenced by other architecture from prior Halo games. I forget if we talked about this one. Did we talk about the Helm's Deep map that was made in Forge?
I don't remember that, no.
Well, there's a Firefight Helm's Deep now that has been made.
Nice.
Someone remade the Halo Wars 2 Terminus Firefight. And then someone made a campaign-type mission in Forge. So a lot more AI type stuff. Oh, that's right. There have been lots of Forge maps that have come out since the AI stuff. Someone, I forget, I don't know if we said it on the podcast yet, but someone forged the entirety of the Sierra 117 mission from Halo 3 inside of Halo Infinite's Forge. And in this Forge features, now there's the Silent Cartographer campaign mission that's been entirely redone in Halo Infinite's Forge. If it weren't for the map limit inside of Forge, at this point, you could probably remake the entirety of the Halo campaign inside of Forge, at least for Halos 1 through 3. Maybe reach an ODST. I'm not sure about 4.
Yeah, 4 had some pretty big campaign areas.
Well, 3 I guess had some.
Yeah, 3 had a couple of them.
The Ark you might be able to fit into it. The Covenant, probably not.
Yeah, it'd be tight.
I know someone made the Warthog run before the AI got added. Someone could probably add the AI into that now.
Mm-hmm.
Someone may have actually already done that. I think Mint Blitz covered it. So this is a funny little thing. Mint Blitz put out a video earlier this week or last week, and he had mentioned that someone commented about how like they get the news from him, and I'll be honest, I get most of my Halo news from him now because he actually takes all the input from everybody and actually consolidates it down into a nice 4-minute video for all the news that's happening with whatever. Mm-hmm. And he made an interesting point where a lot of the news that's come out, he's getting it put out, and they're not being posted by 343 until like after, like 2 or 3 days after he posts a video, if they make a news article about it or whatnot. So it's very interesting, the dynamic that the community is reporting on news way before 343 is actually making something official about it. And it's pretty sad that a YouTuber seems to be more reliable on news than, you know, the actual source where the news should be coming from. But it is what it is. I think that is kind of the news stuff. There's a new community spotlight, G Customs creations. I know if I've seen them around before. I don't know if we've mentioned them on the podcast before, but that's the latest spotlight, and I think we're all caught up on the news. Did I miss anything?
Nothing that I remember. I'm sure there's something.
There's probably always something. It's kind of nice that most of it's being overwhelmed by all the cool Forge stuff that the community's been putting out. I feel like that's been a lot of the attraction as of late, is just all the cool Forge stuff that has come out. It's nice to see that we get continued content updates. So it'll be nice to have Firefight. I know a lot of people are looking forward to Firefight coming, although Forgers have already recreated Firefight inside of Forge already. But we get the official Firefight nice for matchmaking.
What the developer does with it as well. And you never know, they might add some interesting new twists to it.
You never know. I feel like at this point, though, Forge is almost as close to just like native developer tools. And I even think they said this during the development of Halo Infinite, that some of the stuff they just make in Forge.
It wouldn't surprise me,
because it's just that powerful.
Even if they were just using it to test a concept, a lot of the stuff can be put together a lot faster in Forge than it could be to actually code it. And you can basically do a rough block out of a campaign mission in Forge now, or test multiplayer maps. So they've built a good tool, and I'm just happy that they shared it with us.
Imagine all the coding that actually has to go in to make Forge possible.
Oh, it's an utter nightmare.
You have to make the underlying systems to make all this work. All the AI stuff to work, all the game mode stuff to work, all the scripting stuff, all the stuff that has been traditionally locked behind dev tools is now inside of a game interface.
And on top of all that, you have to make it understandable for somebody that doesn't know how to code.
Well, I feel like
you have to make it work.
Is kind of coding.
You have to make it work for people of all different skill trees. Just to be able to grab something and put it where you want it. Yeah, you can do that with the actual dev tools, but there's more steps involved in doing that.
Sure.
I mean, with us, you grab it, you put it where it goes, and it's there.
I mean, I get the coding aspect of it too.
So it's truly impressive that they're able to give us this powerful of a tool and still make it relatively easy to use.
I think that's going to wrap it up for the podcast tonight after loads of technical difficulties between OBS seemingly not be able to encode stuff now, my PC crashing, and other technical difficulties. I've got a lot of work to kind of refigure out my streaming setup. So hopefully we'll be back next week.
Was it not last 2 weeks ago? I had an encoding error as well. Mine, for some reason, OBS just decided it didn't want to code one night. It didn't want to encode one night correctly.
Yeah, and I'm getting dropped. I'm getting frames missed due to rendering lag. So like frames are like the rendering side of things on my streaming PC right now is lacking. I don't know. Something to figure out for another day. Anyways, that's going to be it for the podcast. This will probably be a little bit better of a listening experience than the viewing experience for those that were watching the live stream. Don't have a recording because of all the craziness with everything going on. So you're probably just hearing this on the audio version. So sorry for our patrons. You're not going to get a video copy of this because everything was just not working today.
It not working. It broken.
It's very broken. On a side note, I have been clearing shop of a lot of Halo stuff because not enough room in the house for everything that I have as far as Halo stuff goes. So I've been posting a lot of stuff on eBay. Lots of Halo Mega Construct stuff. If you have any interest in any of that kind of stuff, you can head on over to eBay and check out some of my stuff. DS-Pettigrew is my profile if you want to go over there and look at some of the stuff I'm selling. And yeah, still have that Halo Infinite Xbox to do a giveaway on here at some point. This year might be the good year for it since people are actually enjoying Halo. Thanks again for listening. I think we only had 1 or 2 viewers pop in tonight, but we appreciate every one of you for sticking with us. Hope you all have a great holiday season. Hopefully we'll have another couple shows before the end of the year, as long as everything keeps working from a recording perspective and a streaming perspective. But otherwise, check us out on Fridays where we are doing Halo Infinite gameplay, and possibly some Thursdays in this month as we try to get back into some, now I'm blanking on the name, Curse Halo and the Mario Kart levels. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Haters.
Thank you for listening to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting service and listen to us live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Check out our website, podtacular.com, and join the community on Discord at podtacular.com/discord. If you want to play Halo with us, come join us for Fraggin' Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become a supporter of the show by sharing the show with your friends and family, or help keep the lights on by subscribing to us on Twitch, donating via PayPal, or becoming a patron alongside Confal, Pins Halo, and Prestige Ace. Until next time, keep on fragging trucks.